This is my response to session 16, question set 1 from Jacob. Um, Question number 1. In the lecture video, we were asked if technological literacy should be a class taught in schools. Personally, how technology adept would you consider yourself, and how did you get to that level? I think I'm pretty good with technology. I think I just kind of grew up in an environment where I had access. I kind of grew up in a place that had good internet capabilities, and not that my parents were super into it, but it was it was around enough. We had a computer, and I had access to some technology at school, taking like multimedia classes and stuff. So I think just being exposed to it and just kind of being a curious kid kind of helped me understand it, and I don't know, just kind of interested me throughout adulthood. Question 2, an important question to ask ourselves is not what pieces of technology we are implementing in our school curriculum, but how devices are being used to enhance education. On a very basic level, in what subject material or courses do you see the implementation of technology to be especially useful? I think I think the key when educating kids is to make things relevant and practical and useful. So I would imagine that a lot of the technology in math and science is probably going to be useful. The reason why we have technology is to make our lives simpler and easier, and to be able to do things faster and more efficient. And I think that's where you're going to find that sort of thing, and maybe not just limited to that broad classification of math and science, but tech ed itself, and kind of learning trades and skills like that. I know there's a lot of graphic design courses now where I've visited a lot of schools where 3D printing is big. So yeah, I think just wherever there's going to be real world applications, because I feel like that's part of this lesson where technology is kind of going to continue to grow and be more important. Question 3, even if you disagree with the sentiments, do you see any reason for schools not to make an effort to become more technologically savvy? I don't. I think if schools can afford it, they have to stay relevant, and if you don't adapt and change with the times, you're going to fall behind. And I don't think that technology is all of a sudden going to stop unless we have I don't know, some kind of weird thing happens and we get into a war with Skynet or something. But yeah, I don't think there's a great reason. But I do think that they have to be careful about how they implement it, and to make sure that you're not replacing teaching, the skill of teaching, with technology. I think that you really have to make sure that teachers are the core of what's being taught, or actually teaching. And technology should be a tool. I think we're always going to need to have the actual teaching going on. But I think that if we're not preparing our kids to use technology, we're not preparing them for the real world. Question 4: comparing online and in-person classes, what do you see as the positives and negatives of each type of learning experience? Obviously, the whole reason. Well, maybe not all the time, but the main reason I take online classes is for flexibility. I think that I work full time, so I just could never attend classes multiple times a week, and I get my schoolwork done as time permits. But I do think and I think this class does a good job of somewhat replicating. I think discussions are kind of good to, be thought-provoking, and to make people kind of think on the spot, Um, and for people that need it, I think that kind of maybe not necessarily one-on-one, but the kind of human attention and interaction with the teacher can be really beneficial. In terms of negatives, I think that it kind of depends on the individual. I think an online situation could be negative to people who aren't disciplined. If you don't kind of have the drive to take care of your business, and if you procrastinate too much, that can be bad. And then I guess the only negative I would say about in-person classes is, if you don't have the time, like me. So, yeah, I think if you're able to take in-person classes, I think there's a clear advantage there.